Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, innovation come together. My name is Epi Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Hari Srinivasan, tech innovator and founder of iCover. Hari, great seeing you. Welcome to Bold Talk series. How are you?
Happy, nice to see you as well. And thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great.
Awesome. Well, looking forward to this conversation, Hari. What was the defining moment in your life when you realized technology could fundamentally transform the life insurance industry? And what personal experiences drove you to act on that vision?
That's an interesting question, right? Life insurance is not one of the high tech areas. So the benefit for me was I was in the industry, both myself and my co founder, Nicole, are from the industry. And we have decades of experience in the life insurance space. We also have our personal experiences that, is a testament to the importance of life insurance. Both myself and my co founder, we have our personal stories. Of course, topic for another day. But when startup, entrepreneurship, and obsession come together, then there's a lot more at stake. And that's what happened to both of us, myself and Nicole. We were obsessed with making this process accessible and affordable, and then having the background kind of helped.
Nice. Now, um, I believe you, based on your profile that I looked at, you've done and designed and sold multiple technology platforms in your career. Which lessons most directly shaped the DNA of iCover's technology for you?
Lots of lessons, as you would imagine, and as you know. But the best lesson that I always carried with me was basically designing with the solution in mind rather than the technology in mind. Often things get misplaced if you like a certain technology and if you want to embrace that badly, and that might not serve your business. Versus you look at your business and you say, I'm going to build something that's going to help build out the business, help the business and sustain it, grow it for a longer period. And that's the biggest lesson I have is when I look at a particular outcome or a need from a technology perspective, I always look at the business before I place the technology, not place the technology before the business.
Yeah, that's a good question. Good answer. Lots of founders, when they go through the found the company, one of the things that they go through, it takes from them, it takes a lot of time for a lot of them, is the product market fit. How important that is for you getting the product market fit right, and how important it was for you to get for iCover that product market fit.
Product market fit in this industry is extremely important since the industry is skeptical about new solutions, takes time to embrace new solutions. It was critical for us. And the experience that we had, the past experiences, the prior experience that both my co founder, Nicole, and myself have, kind of gave us the initial, the vision, if you will, to shape up the solution for the market. So we were in the middle of the problem statement and we wanted to make it better. So that kind of helped us create a market for ourselves.
Yeah. Looking and honing on the problem, looking at how painful that problem is so important, and figure out like who's willing to pay for it, right? Because when you go through the trials, and it's easy when you get that feedback, but when they get the feedback with a wallet, how difficult it was for you to get to that point where, like, because I mean, let's face it, your industry is very conservative, right? And people really want to really they want to see like a full-fledged product. How difficult was you for you to get to that paid customer?
It was extremely difficult, and I'll throw one other mix in this. So we started during COVID. So it was difficult to actually sell something when everyone is trying to redefine themselves and then also sell a solution in a conservative market. For us, we were pretty keen on what we needed to offer, right? Like the value proposition from day one up until today. It's been, a little more than 5 years now for us in the business. So from day one up until this point, we've never moved away from the initial value proposition. We've evolved as a company, we've added services, we've diversified, but the core value still is the same, what we offer to our end consumers. And that was compelling for our consumers to figure out the value proposition and believing in the value proposition. And that kind of helped shape up the story.
Interesting. Now, creating the fastest eApp on the market requires both technical mastery and trust from industry players. What was that toughest challenge in building an AI driven underwriting system that people truly believed in?
Great question. I appreciate you asking this question. You mentioned a great point. The industry that we are working in is already conservative. Now you add risk on top of that. What we do closely aligns with risk assessment and taking on risk. So it's a big part of what we do. So we've been thoughtful from day one in terms of creating something that's more palatable for the risk that our customers would take. So what we decided was, we one of the best things we did in our early days was we created something we call a simulation tool. Our version of the simulation tool will actually derive multiple permutations and combinations of the risk, and it will show that in a nice form to our potential customers. They love that, and when they looked at how we can simulate the risk of what our algorithms are doing and paste it in a nice Excel or a consumable document, that really helped us move forward with the sale, because it was not regarded as a black box. It was regarded as something that could produce a nice output that people could look at and sign off. And then that created the baseline of our algorithms.
Talking about that, and innovation, speed is often seen as a competitive edge, yet when you're moving too fast can sometimes break critical systems, missing out the right feedback that you get from a customer to iterate. How do you balance that rapid innovation with responsibility of handling something as sensitive as life insurance?
That is a really, really good question. It's a complicated question as well, because we go through that with every customer, to be honest with you. Everyone comes up with one form or the other of the same question. You guys are fast. Now, are you cutting corners, or are you maintaining the integrity of that? So there are multiple ways we calm their nerves. One is it's tried and tested for us. At least now at this point, we've written over 1 billion in risks. So the platform is tried and tested. But in our early days, going back to the simulation that kind of helped us, where we kind of had to prove to our potential partners that speed in this scenario is not bad, because this is the outcome. We know how to generate the outcome of the faster process and show it to them, because I feel speed in a conceptual sense, in an abstract sense, is much more dangerous than speed in a practical sense. And that's what we worked hard to design that and come up with a practical sense to show how speed works, versus more hypothesizing that and making it abstract, which would have been detrimental to us.
Yeah. Now, but the insurance industry, they've been resistant to change. I mean, not just insurance industry, but many old industries. But in this particular industry, what was the turning point when you began to see a meaningful adoption of AI and algorithm underwriting, and what triggered that shift for you?
I think the shift for us was the industry. This industry also deals with a lot of data, as you know, and beyond a certain level, it gets harder and harder for the human mind to kind of compile all of this data and keep it straight. So this is a compelling use case for AI, this industry itself, because of the way there are so many data points that a particular person or a system has to tie it together to produce a decision, one form of the other. So that is compelling, and we felt like to baseline an AI, especially in the underwriting space, where you have to correlate multiple data points, and what the outcome is could be detrimental in a lot of cases, because you're dealing with millions of dollars in terms of risk that has been taken. So it's a great place to train a model, a predictive model, in the sense. So the model can be a crucial part, an integral part in taking the risk, or being one of the allies in terms of assisting in the risk assessment process. So that basically motivated us, and we see the industry is also embracing AI in a big way, knowing that this is going to be an integral part of how they look at things like underwriting.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels the new era that you really can't afford not to embrace it. And I think a lot of the leadership today, they had already understood that very well. And so that itself also for the insurance industry. Now, when you look ahead, what is the single most transformative shift you believe will redefine the life insurance industry?
I strongly believe it's going to be a combination of product and distribution, how products are distributed and how they tie into the distribution. So the industry has been traditional in terms of a distribution for a long, long time. And now I feel, new sources of distribution along with embedded products will be the new norm in terms of how the industry is going to distribute the products.
So distribution part is the key.
Yes.
Interesting. Hari, I always like to ask my guests about the question on the word bold. What does that mean to you personally? And the reason I ask this is because I like to get all this different perspective. Uh, we're all different. So love to hear that from you. What does that mean to you, the word bold?
Interesting question, Epi. One of my favorite lines, and I have a poster somewhere on that, is the greatest risk is not taking one. And I live by that principle. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've burnt my fingers multiple times. I've been on successful paths as well. So I would say that is bold to me is, the greatest risk is not taking one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this is something where we need to understand that being comfortable with uncomfortable is what's required to take those risks.
Absolutely.
Ari, it's so great to see you. Thank you for joining me in this Bold Talk series. Looking forward to reconnect again soon. Until that time, have a great summer. Take care, be great, and be bold always. Bye bye.
You too, Epi. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank
it.